I'm stuck in the most awkward place. Ugh. You guys can't even see, but I'm over. I got my leg stuck. It's like something from a horror film. Right guys, today's job, we're going to take out a vented water heater that's up in the roof, because at the minute we've got no flow. This is only feeding 2 basins, they are thermostatic taps. The water heater is up there, so it's a little fortic cylinder. We're actually just going to put, sorry about that, the light in the camera, we're actually going to just put a little 15 litre unvented water heater in. So we should be able to isolate the water. Let's just bend that torch. This is real life plumbing, everything. We'll isolate the water there, and we'll get a hose pipe on there. Hopefully there's a drain off tap on that cylinder somewhere. That's my phone ringing. So yeah, that's today's job anyway. I'll just get this call quickly and I'll finish the intro. So what I've done, turn that stop tap off. I think that one's actually going to work for us, and what we'll do is we'll open the hot tap downstairs. So this is only feeding 2 basins. So there's this one and one on the other side, and that'll drain the top out of the tank, so it'll empty the little cistern, and then we'll get a hose pipe. We'll either siphon it out, yeah, and we'll basically put the full unvented kit. The only awkward bit is the discharge. We might just have to take out, I don't know, we'll get it out somewhere, whether we have to drop it down and go low level, because obviously we can't use the old overflow because it's only plastic, it needs to be copper. But yeah, we'll sort that bit when we get up here. We've got one of them horrible looking drain off taps. Where's my nose gone? Hate them. Oh, bang my head. Oh, that hurt. I don't know whether this will work or not. That's a different story. I'll just lob this hose down to my mate. This, as I say, sometimes it's up in roofs with plumbing. Always awkward. Never easy. And hopefully you can just chuck it in the toilet. Is that the end, Harry?
Yeah, I've got one end.
You've got one end, I've got the other. You've got to watch these drain offs because sometimes they scale up and they're rubbish, so we'll get some grips on there. We'll give it a whirl. What do you reckon? You reckon I should be using a spanner? Yeah, you're probably right. I reckon we're going to get in trouble with that one. We might try and siphon it out. Right, I've just shoved that down the cold feed. Don't know if you guys can see, there's a 22 pipe that goes all the way to the bottom, so you can siphon it out like that. It's not really empty and the water is off. It's because the taps have got that low flow on, but once we get it siphoning it should be fine. Right, we've just got that emptying into here, as I say, because these have got so low flow on, it's not really emptying it out the system. But that won't take long to empty now. So on these, this is a fortic tank. Obviously you've got your overflow coming out, you've got your inlet on a ball valve, part 2. That's your vent over the top, and then it's just an immersion heater at the bottom that heats it. So this is just a direct fortic cylinder. So pretty basic plumbing, just works on gravity. What we're doing is just pressurising it. I think the reason that tank's not dropping is because I've blocked it with my hose maybe, but it is emptying. We'll get that last bit in a second, we might just have to bail it. But I'll get the electrics disconnected, which is just on that spur. It probably is dropping now, to be fair. And yeah, get this out of the way, and then we'll look at getting the new one in. So the old overflow goes out there. We might, obviously, if we upgrade that to copper, we might be able to use that, but we'll put a Tundish and stuff on. It discharges. Yeah, we'll have a look at that anyway. Ideally, we want to drop that down to the ground, but we'll have a look at that bit. We'll just get everything stripped off this tank. Probably have to hold it against myself. Get that ball valve off. It might go in a second. Get that ball valve off, overflow off, electrics off, and then when that's empty we can just lift that out. And I'm just contemplating how they got it up here. It is empty. What I might do is cut the lid off it, cut the tank off. There is a bit of water because it won't drain into the cold feed, to be fair, but I can bail that bit out. It's just how they got it past all this timber. Unless they sort of laid it flat and got it through there. It's awkward. It's never easy. This is like the glamorous life of a plumber. This is all the stuff like when you're at college, you get a nice little bay, you know, just pipe up a fortic cylinder. But when you're in the real world, you're in the roof, you know, you're upside down, you're in hot, but we'll get it out, and then all we're going to do is put the new unvented cylinder, the water heater, just on there, and then we'll look at the pipework. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm stuck in the most awkward place. Ugh. You guys can't even see, but I'm over. I got my leg stuck. It's like something from a horror film. I'm over. Great content just for you guys. Right, I've cut all the way around it, but there's a rod in the middle that holds the two. Obviously it spins free. I just can't get it out. I might see if I can bend and snap that rod off. Let me spin the camera around. Can you see me? I'm sweating buckets up here. It's running off me. It's that hot, but we'll be alright. It's only, what, 9 o'clock in the morning as well. But I'll just try and snap that off. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, that one. I've managed to cut through that. God knows what that bit is, some sort of insulation pad. I've never actually cut one off. It's obviously they've used it as a direct, but it's actually got a coil inside. Let me spin the camera, but I'm sweating. Yeah, it's life of a plumber, mate. So we can just lift that out now. Luckily I've got my mate with me today, so if I pass out I'll be fine. That's great. But yeah, the worst bit's just going to be getting this out. When we actually get on the new bit, it won't be too bad at all. Well, I've nearly got it out. Just having to cut it again. I've no idea how they managed to get it through that gap. I don't know, they must have laid it flat, but because we've got a bit of water in and then pipes there now, I don't really want to have to move all them. So I just cut it again. I've actually just snapped my blade. Luckily my mate's here. I don't know if you can see the sweat is absolutely dripping off me. But we'll be fine. There's no point complaining. And we'll get this out, and say once I've got this out, the new bit shouldn't be too bad. I'll grab that before it falls. Right, we're just going to siphon the last little bit out. I think most of it's my sweat in there actually, rather than the actual water. But as you can see, just got a 9-inch immersion, 9 or 11. My mate's just going to suck on that hose, and we can get the last little bit out and then just get this out then. I've cut it into 3 to make it easier. So that's as much as we're going to siphon out. I think that is the anode at the bottom. That's obviously sacrificial, so it stops the cylinder and the connections from rusting, and obviously that corrodes. So there's a bit of limescale in the bottom of it. It's actually not too bad, to be fair. But that's inside a fortic anyway. That I can't remember if that was vent or cold feed, but you've got, that's probably cold feed, that one, because it drops in the bottom and then the vent goes over the top. That one of the top connections. But yeah, we'll get this out now. Should be able to lift that out, no problem. So these are actually under sink water heaters that we're fitting, but these ones, these Hyco ones, you can mount above if you need to. So you can go, as long as the heater's upright and you've got the pipes coming out the top, that's absolutely fine. So we'll be doing, we're going to put a check valve, expansion vessel, pressure relief into the cold, and just pick up the hole. That's how we do it. The water pressure is not that great. If you've got too high water pressure, I think it's more than 6 bar, I'll have to read the instructions. You've got to put a pressure reducing valve on. So we can either put a new stop tap, that one does work, and then just this kit here. In theory, if you've got enough expansion on your pipe work, you don't need to put the vessel in, but we're going to put one in anyway, just in case. You know, I always think it's better if you do have that. Now, I'm just looking at the pipework connections on this. So we'll clean the excess Loctite off. It is on a solid base. You won't get any more solid base than that. If it can take my weight, that'd be fine. Obviously, I had the old cylinder on there. So that's our heart. We might just have to come out. We'll lag this all back up anyway. I know it's not the ideal position for water treating, but that's what we just managed to do. And then the cold will come off here, probably put expansion vessel, non-return valve, expansion vessel, PRV, and then into the cold. And the taps are blended anyway, so we can store this at 60 and it'll blend it down to say 39 to 41. We'll check it anyway. So yeah, should be fine. And then the discharge, what we're thinking about doing is using, obviously replacing that with copper and then just dropping it down. It's into like a courtyard bit anyway, so I think we should be fine. We'll do that in 22. Put a Tundish up here, not that anybody will really come up here. It's just in case anything freezes that side, you've still got a discharge then. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And we'll get that one cut off. Well, I might cut it off on the other side yet. I honestly don't think it'll really matter too much up here, as long as the job looks neat and tidy. And then it should be fine on a 20mm, 22mm as well. I can't see it making a massive difference. As I say, it's only feeding literally two basins. One's literally directly below me. The pipework drops in that corner, and then the other one's just down there. So I think it'll be fine. It was nearly furred up on the outlet. Look, that's the old hot coming out that came out the side of the cylinder. So he's nearly down to a 15mm pipe anyway on that. And then the cold will probably just cut there somewhere, and then because we need to leave it high enough for the PRV to have a drop, we need 300 at the bottom of the Tundish before a bend. So we'll just cut that there. I'm actually lucky that worked, because I've no idea where the water turns off in this building. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck. There's a bit of water in the pipe, but that'll be fine. No damage done. So that's our cold coming in. We've got an isolation valve or a stop tap. Next thing we need is a normal turn valve, then expansion vessel, then into here. We're going to do the PRV off here. The hot, I did think about cutting it that side, but I honestly don't think it'll make any difference. We'll just lag all this up. So yeah, expansion vessel will sit here somewhere in the vertical position and then in. Hopefully nothing up here freezes. I mean, you can put unvented cylinders in the roof. It's obviously not ideal, but literally that's all we've been asked to do. So you can only do what you've been told, and you can only do your best. Obviously we just need to lag all this as well, but as I say, first thing, normal turn valve stop, the fluid cat 2 going back into the main, expansion vessel, PRV, job done. So that's our single check valve, suitable fluid cat 2. There's an error. Obviously I put some jet blue, some wrestle proof jet blue on there. We tighten that on, and then as I say, expansion vessel will go there. So that's my 2 litre expansion vessel on. That comes with a kit. Just put that into a 15 by 15 by half T. Put the Schrader valve where you can get to it. Put it in the vertical position, because then in theory it's better for the Legionella. How much difference it actually makes is still debatable, but that's how I fitted it. Just got the PRV to do on here, and then we'll have to come out, drop down 300, or put the Tundish, drop down 300 into 22, and then take it out that far wall. But if I get this PRV on, we can get the water back on, get the heater wired, make sure we've got no leaks while we're here. So Harry's turning the water back on. We'll make sure we've got no leaks up here. We're just going to nip down and open the tap. I think that water on top of there is just when I've got the water out of that pipe. We'll dry it all off anyway. We should have much better pressure. I'll show you in a second. We'll have a lot better pressure on that hot tap then. Once this is full, we're safe to wire it up and get the power on. As I say, this shouldn't discharge. All things are correct anyway. That's a 6-bar PRV. These come with the kit, so these come with the heater, not the kit. The kits are separate. So yeah, we should be fine. What I've done is just shut that stop tap a little bit, just to dackle the flow rate down on the basins. There's no service valves down there on the actual inlets, and they're just, when you turn the basins on, they're just overflowing because they're only a little hand wash. But there's way more pressure now than there was before, which that was the complaint. So I think we'll be fine. We've just got this discharge to do. I say we're going to drop this into a Tundish, and then we're going to take it out that wall. It's supposed to have an air gap, just in case anything freezes on the outside. It's still always going to have a path to safety. I know it'll overflow in here, but it's better than, you know, the whole unit blowing up. So yeah, we'll crack on with that now. Right, this is the aftershock. We've actually dackled it down to stop it splashing, but I think that's okay. So it can be more than that. Yeah. I'll double check the temperature in the thermometer. I'll go back to the van in a second, but it feels about perfect. Normally if you can bare your hands, things like that, it's fine. So yeah, all good. Tap hits the wall a bit, but I didn't fit it. So yeah, that's this job all done. I'll spin the camera around. I'm pleased to be out that roof. I didn't actually get much footage of the discharge because my mate did most of that, but another successful job. Hopefully it should be alright. That's where they wanted it in the roof anyway, so I can't see it being an issue. they thought that pipe was live. I just cut it on the other side and it's absolutely dead. But there was no way to turn the water off because the internal stop tap's broken and angling water. I don't know where the one is on the road. I'll quickly show you this. So this is an old one pipe heating system. All this is being eventually gutted and all cast iron rads, but I think the water, where are we looking? I think the water came in here. They tried to turn it off, but it's absolutely sea solid. But all this is live in here. And they assume that pipe was. The demo in the building's over the other side, and basically angling water. Don't know where the stop tap is. That sink's full. So yeah, easy job for me. I thought I was going to get wet on that one, but eventually all this is coming out and they're refurbing all this lot. But I don't really want to say too much because we might not get the job yet. We've just got the demo works. There is gas. Don't know. This will be a job for the future, maybe, hopefully. This would have been the old plant room on this job. Obviously you used to have your flow coming out the top. I think that's like 3-inch steel, and then your return drops at the bottom. It's just a one pipe system. It's got a plate heat exchanger on it. Obviously all this will be ripped out. That's your low level ventilation. There's probably high level as well. It's probably had an old. So obviously that's a room seal boiler, but at one point it probably had an open flue. So I just like looking around old buildings really. 2 filters on it. Yeah. It's quite a big building to be fair. It'd be a nice job if we do get the refurb on it. So yeah, that's this job anyway.